Geoff Schwartz, NFL analyst here at Fox. He has a podcast. He's wearing a nice Duke blue shirt. Did you play 18 this morning, Geoff?
I did not. I was doing something else. I had to wear a nice polo shirt. I just wore for you as well. I was hoping to get some summer league wagers from you today, but I guess we'll do that another time.
Yeah, I'm holding off on the summer league gambling. I know. I see you on social. Are you doing WNBA betting?
Yeah,
Bro, what
mostly
is that
props.
Okay.
I mean, look, Caitlin Clark assists every game. I mean, she gets a lot of assists. She might not be shooting very well right now, but she's passing the ball around her teammates, and sometimes they don't make the layups, Jason, but she gets a lot of assists. So I will rock. I mostly do zigzag stuff, right? Where a good player has a bad game, the next game they typically play better. It's not rocket science. I tend to make those type of wagers.
Yeah, it is weird just to go. I'll talk about Clark a little more later, but I'm curious your thoughts. So she struggled before the injury. She comes back from the injury. She's still kind of struggling, but the Fever are winning. Now, aside from gambling, I think the Fever are still going to be live in the playoffs with a healthy Clark to maybe contend for the championship. I know their record doesn't show it, but you've watched a lot of WNBA. I mean, do you think they're contenders with Clark?
I think they have to be because their offense is sort of figuring out, right? It takes some time. They have a lot of new pieces, right? Howard's new, right? Cunningham's new. Clark's been in and out of the lineup, but they're trying to figure things out. Ari McDonald's been in the lineup now. They're trying to figure things out. As Clark gets healthier, I'd imagine they start playing better offensively. She will start playing better offensively as well. But she obviously does a lot for the game. Assists, she had 5 steals. Yesterday, she opens things up. When they are on, they score a ton of points. Now, defensively, there's still some question marks. I feel like they did beat the Lynx already without her. They beat the Liberty with Caitlin Clark. They play Liberty, I think, again this weekend. So they're alive. Remember last year, the second half of the season, after the Olympic break, they were much better. I feel like they're starting to hit their stride a little bit now as we get to the break. I would expect them to play well in the postseason.
Wow. I got to give you a shout out. Jeff Clark is dropping Indiana Fever bench players, and he's talking about the upcoming schedule. My man, impressive. All right, now let's go to the NFL. I do want to ask you about college later or something, but I don't know. Listen, it's mid-July. People are putting out lists. I see this list of the top 10 quarterbacks in the league from executives, scouts, and coaches. Jeff, the Jalen Hurts disrespect. The MVP of the Super Bowl checking in 9th below Jared Goff, Justin Herbert. I love Justin Herbert. He doesn't have a playoff win yet. Matt Stafford is kind of cement shoes in the pocket. Shout out Stafford. Jaden Daniels, 1 year. Why do you think people are just out on Hurts, who, by the way, is the only second-round pick of these top 9?
I'm not sure they're out on him. I think they don't look at one game as a reason why to rank a player in a certain spot, right? I mean, this is the best quarterback for an entire season or really where they are in their careers. To me, 1 through 6 is not really debatable with them and Hurts. I mean, look, Jaden Daniels had one good season. We get that. But go watch him play. As a passer of the football, he's a better passer of football than Jalen Hurts. I think there's no question about that. Now, of course, he didn't do it in the Super Bowl like Hurts has, which did happen. He played great. Actually, in both Super Bowls, Hurts has played really well, and that should count for something. I do think that does count for Justin Herbert, who has not played well in the postseason. Hurts has been better than him. I would put, probably Hurts at 7. Stafford's still really good. Like, I think we forget that because he doesn't move as well as other quarterbacks do, and he plays in LA, and pro football is not as important there. But they were very close to winning that game in the snow in Philly. A couple turnovers doomed them there. I think Hurts is properly ranked. I think if you were drafting quarterbacks, this is about where you draft them. You would have Hurts, I think, ahead of Stafford because of age there. But to me, one game, right? One Super Bowl. He played great in that game. I'm not taking anything away from him. Doesn't really change, I think, where he needs to be ranked according to the top 6. Now, again, he should be ahead of Goff. That team is really silly to me. And Herbert, I love Justin Herbert, but he has not shown the ability in those bigger games in the postseason to play as well as Hurts. I think, to me, 1 through 6 is where they should be. You might argue, okay, should Lamar be 3? Should Burrow be 4? Sure. 1 and 2 feel very solid of where they are. So I have no problem with 1 through 6. I think 7 should be Hurts.
Okay, so this is a good talking point for NFL fans, because when you say, like, there's no debate, like Jaden Daniels is a better thrower of the football, I think that was the phrase you used, and that's a phrase in a lot of these articles. How do you quantify that? Because, I mean, if you're just looking at how the ball comes off their hand, over 500 attempts, like, I guess you could break it down that way. Do you do yards per attempt, which is, saying that someone's a check down or throwing deep down the field? Is it completion percentage? That could be skewed toward what the offense is doing, quarterback rating? Like, how do you judge thrower of the football?
Yeah. I judge the really tough throws. I think a lot of guys can make the easy throw, right? It's the tough throws, right? It's the throws on the move, throws on third down, throws with pressure in your face, throws in big moments. I mean, go look at the throws Daniel made throughout the season, and you'll see, I think, in more opportunities, the offense was put on his shoulders, and he made those throws. Now, in Hurts' offense, to Hurts' defense, J-Man, he doesn't have to do as much, right? Because they run the football so well. They close out games with the offensive line and the run game and often with his legs. But I think Daniels throws the ball better than Hurts in bigger moments, in sort of the third down situation, sort of these big, tough throws. To me, it's Daniels ahead of him, which to me is still number one in quarterback play. I look, mobility is great. Being able to run the football is great. It's good for third down, in the red zone, those scrambling moments. But to me, the way I rank quarterbacks is what you do in the pocket first. That's the hardest part of the job, right? It's 3rd and 8. How do you react in the pocket? Can you make those big time throws? I think Daniels has a little bit more of that than Hurts does.
Interesting. There's a lot. That's one of the things with quarterbacks. There's a lot, like, we got to look up tight window throws and who's third down completion. But there's so much that goes into it. But let me drill down on Stafford for a second. Yeah. You know, the modern quarterback, if you look at everybody's top 4 is Burrow, who can scramble and run awesome. Patrick Mahomes running despite the dad bod. Lamar needs no introduction. Josh Allen's running over defensive backs. Stafford doesn't add that element. But he was a number 1 overall pick. He has one of, like, the top 5 arms in the league. He's making no-look throws in the Super Bowl. Like, how are we supposed to compare Stafford to Hurts? Because if I said, Jeff, this season, who would you rather have, Stafford or Hurts? Wouldn't you take Hurts because he gives you such a next dimension with the running?
If it was a fourth quarter to win a game, and of course, look, let's just say it's a normal offense. You don't get the Eagles' offensive line. You don't get the run game. Just like an average NFL offense, right? Fourth quarter of a game. Do you want Stafford or you want Hurts throwing the football? Who would you want throwing the football in that situation?
Well, for the full, it's similar to the Jordan LeBron discussion. Like, correct. I would take LeBron for a full game for the full season. But for the fourth quarter, yeah, Stafford's clutch. Michael Jordan's clutch.
And I think that matters when it comes to some of these GMs, right? Like, again, most of these quarterbacks, right, 1 through 7, 1 through 10 even, can do the simple things well. They wouldn't be a top 10 quarterback if they couldn't make the simple throws. So to me, I elevate in certain situations, right? How would you do in this situation? How do you do in this situation? I think Matt Stafford, if I ask him again for the situation I put, and that's again where I think you're judging these quarterbacks on very like nuanced situations. To me, I'd have Stafford just ahead of Hurts. I think it's not that much ahead of Hurts. Like, I think this season through week 8, Hurts might be better than Stafford. I'll move him up there. But for me right now, the situation still matters. I think Stafford is better in that spot. Again, it's not a big difference between 1 and 6 to me. Hurts can certainly be in that conversation. But to me, he's just 7.
One guy, well, a couple guys down on the list. Number 1, Dak Prescott, the highest paid quarterback in the NFL, who I believe 2 years ago was the runner-up for MVP, is now not even top 10. And I think they did like a just missed, and it was C.J. Stroud and Jordan Love. No Dak Prescott in the top 12. I'm curious your thoughts on Dak, because, again, 2 years ago, he was runner-up to MVP.
Well, he didn't play much last year, right? I mean, I think that plays a role in it. When you don't play as much, you're not in that discussion. I think, too, like, at best, what is Dak Prescott? 10 on a list, 9 on a list? And so you don't play, you're going to drop down. Now, can you make that back up this season? Absolutely, with more play time. But again, you look at sort of the things I look at in those moments. He didn't play last year, so you can't give him credit for those things. So I think he's about where he should be. But again, I think at best, he's about 10 in the NFL. So him not playing this season, last season, not many, I think only games last season, is about where he can be. Can he get back up in the top 10? Absolutely. Look, you can certainly see a list like this where Goff pulls back in a given year. Baker Mayfield, I think, is what he is right now, but he could pull back a little bit, and then just Dak kind of popped there. I think Dak is no better than about 9 to 10 in the best season he can have in the NFL.
Interesting. So again, I like this guy more than the market does. But Brock Purdy, he didn't have a great year, but the whole team was banged up. It felt like a transition year. Again, I'm not judging a guy on 1 year, which is why I have a problem with Daniels at 5. But if you take Purdy's career, he's been freaking good. How does he not crack the top 10? Now, again, salary does not factor in here. We're not saying Dak makes, 60 mil. What's his value compared to Daniels? That's obvious. but salary removed, just quarterback play. Are you a Purdy believer or no?
I do think that draft slot bias matters here, right? Because he's a 7th round pick. I was a 7th round pick, so maybe I'm defending him a little bit here. Are you telling me that like Brock Purdy couldn't be Jared Goff with the Lions offense? He totally can, right? But he gets the benefit of playing with a great offensive line, and Goff does, and all the weapons. Last year, everyone was hurt for the Niners. The offensive line was hurt, was beat up. The offensive line is not as good as Detroit is, and he still did the best he could given the situation. And so I think he probably in a given year, with everyone back healthy, is going to be better than where he's ranked right now. Do I think he has the elite traits of the top 6 guys or 7 guys? No. So he's probably never going to be that high. Jay, because again, traits matter, right? The eye test matters in these rankings. But put it all together, to me, you could have the same season Goff has in Detroit if you just insert Brock Purdy into that lineup.
Totally agree. Let me ask about Baker Mayfield, who's an interesting quarterback because he flopped badly in his first few years, right? But he was a #1 overall pick. Everybody loved him. And then he fell out of favor. And now a couple good years in Tampa, and Baker Mayfield, number 10 on the list. Now, it's a weird thing. It seems like these top picks, they get multiple bites at the apple. If you're Brock Purdy and you have 1 year, bye. Dak Prescott, 1 bad year, bye. But Baker Mayfield, hey, man, he was a #1 pick. He's got the traits, as you said, and he checks in at 10 on the list. Your thoughts?
Yeah, look, I think we love the Baker story. And he played well last year, though, J-Mac. He completed nearly 72% of passes, had 4,500 yards last season. Like a legitimately great season passing the football. And that, he has weapons around him. Obviously, the offensive line there is good, but a little injury right now with Wirfs, and he's just played well. He's a good example of 2 things that you mentioned, right? One is that draft slot bias I mentioned already. If you're the first pick overall, you get more chances than anyone else. And he's had those chances. Now, when he's had the chances, though, he's cashed in, right? That Rams Thursday Night Football game, he cashed in, right? He cashed in this situation, get an opportunity in Tampa. That's certainly all part of it. But he's played well in the situation. Situation matters, right? It matters. Does the offense fit you? Do you have an offensive line? Do you have wide receivers? And then do you take advantage of the situation? So I give Baker credit for battling through part of his career that wasn't great. And I've been a skeptic of him at times as well. I think he realized my thing about him is, look, the NFL does a great job of humbling you, right? It's a great league for that. And I think he got a little bit too big. He was doing those commercials when it wasn't time to do commercials yet. He was feeling himself a little bit too much, and the NFL humbled him. He humbled himself, and he's talked about that as maturing as a player, as a person, and he's sort of hitting his stride now. And so I'm happy for Baker. I think it's about right. I think the max you get from Baker Mayfield is about 10. And again, in a given year, maybe it's Love 10 or Dak 10, somewhere around there. But I think GMs appreciate how well he's played given the situation he's in now and his toughness. I think when you see him truck guys for first downs and whatnot, people remember those type of plays.
Yeah, listen, Baker's been tremendous the last 2 years. Let me ask, we hear a lot about, well, Jalen Hurts has a stacked deck, and Jared Goff had Ben Johnson. Let's not forget, Baker Mayfield has had arguably the best wide receiver duo in the league for the last 2 years. Evans and Godwin. Evans is a Hall of Fame lock, and Godwin is elite. I mean, I don't know if they're the best wide receiver duo. They're not better than Higgins and Chase, but they're certainly top 4 at worst. It's like, hey, I don't even remember who the quarterback was before Baker, but I'm fairly certain they got to the playoffs, with that duo at wide receiver. Like, is he getting more of a leash, say, than Kyler Murray?
Well, look, absolutely. And I think you do have to weight how you judge a quarterback based on what they have around him. But again, the production is there, right? I mean, 4,500 yards is 4,500 yards, whether you have great guys or not great guys. I mean, it's there. Like, so to me, the standard is this, right? Like, do you have a good roster? Do you play good? And the answer is yes, right? He's played good to get a roster. If you have a good roster and play poorly, that's a knock on you. Now, there's guys that have poor rosters that elevate those rosters around them. So to me, Baker's doing what he has to do, right? He's playing well with the pieces around him that are good. If he didn't, J-Mac, it'd be a problem, correct? So I think that's a point. And I think, too, Baker feels like a player, maybe feel is not the right word to use here, that does elevate people around him, right? Where he's not just along for the ride. He makes plays that make everyone better. I think that's a part of the evaluation here, right? Do you make everyone better around you? I think Baker's one of those guys that when I watch him play, everyone around him is better because of the play that he's providing them.
Yeah. All right, great stuff, Geoff Schwartz. Let me quickly get one more short one in. We got a minute, but college football, a lot of talk about this salary cap. As a guy who just missed the NIL era, Geoff, let me just quickly ask, is this kind of silly, this union talk? And it's been an interesting summer, to say the least.
A union will never happen. As someone who's part of an NFLPA, it's never too many players to make a college union.
Yep.
To me, I would just let them make whatever they need to make. Like it's fair market, free market. Just these guys are making money. Let them make money. It has even out the playing field over all the sports. Look at the parity we have in a given year all over the sports now, because teams are able to pay guys and keep guys as well, and transfer portal and whatnot. So to me, it's fine the way it is. It needs some refining, absolutely. It needs some maybe some more rules and some more eyeballs to it, yes. But salary cap is never happening. It's just too many moving parts. It will never happen, Jason.
All right, good stuff. Geoff Schwartz, I'm in full agreement. Obviously, catch him on the Bear Bets podcast, Fox Sports NFL analyst. Have a great summer, Geoff.
Thank you, bud. Take care.